Hello all and welcome back. In this video, we are going to cover S3 storage classes and object lifecycle management. Amazon S3 offers a range of S3 storage classes to match use case scenarios and performance access requirements. S3 storage classes are designed to sustain concurrent loss of data in one or two facilities. All S3 storage classes provide the same durability, first byte latency, and support SSL encryption of data in transit and data encryption at rest. S3 storage classes allow lifecycle management for automatic transition of objects for cost savings. S3 standard is the default storage class. Data is replicated across AZs and it is resilient against events that impact an entire AZ and is designed to sustain the loss of data in two facilities. It is designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.99% of availability. S3 Intelligent Tiering Storage class is designed to optimize storage costs by automatically moving data to the most cost-effective storage access tier without performance impact or operational overhead. For a small monthly monitoring and automation fee per object, S3 monitors access patterns of the objects and move objects that have not been accessed for 30 consecutive days to the infrequent access tier. It is designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.9% of availability. S3 Standard Infrequent Access Storage class is optimized for long-lived and less frequently accessed data. Data is stored redundantly across AZs and are resilient to the loss of an AZ. It is designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.9% of availability. S3 One-Zone Infrequent Access Storage class is designed for long-lived, recreatable, infrequently accessed data but still available for real-time access. It stores the data object in only one AZ, which makes it less expensive than the standard infrequent access. However, data is not resilient to the physical loss of the AZ resulting from disasters. It is designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.5% of availability as it is stored in a single AZ. S3 Glacier is an ideal storage class for low-cost, long-term data archival solution. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval is ideal for archiving data that is rarely accessed but requires milliseconds retrieval. It is designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.9% of availability. S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval is suitable for low-cost data archiving where data access is infrequent and retrieval time of minutes to hours is acceptable. It provides configurable retrieval times from minutes to hours. Expedited Retrieval provides a retrieval time from 1 to 5 minutes. Standard Retrieval provides the retrieval time from 3 to 5 hours, whereas Bulk Retrieval provides a retrieval time from 5 to 12 hours. It is designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.99% of availability. Glacier Deep Archive Storage class provides the lowest cost data archiving solution where data access is infrequent and retrieval time of hours is acceptable. It is designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.9% of availability. S3 also supports reduced redundancy storage, although it's deprecated and not recommended anymore as it is more expensive than the S3 standard class. S3 Object Lifecycle helps define how S3 manages objects during their lifetime. S3 controls all transitions automatically. Lifecycle management rules applied to a bucket are applied to all the existing objects in the bucket as well as the ones that will be added anew. S3 Object Lifecycle allows two types of behavior: transition, in which the storage class for the object changes, and expiration, where the objects expire and are permanently deleted. Lifecycle management can be configured with versioning, which allows storage of one current object version and 0 or more non-current object versions. For non-versioned buckets, transitioning period is considered from the object's creation date. For versioned buckets, transitioning period for the current object is calculated from the object creation date, and transitioning period for a non-current object is calculated from the date when the object became a non-current versioned object. Lifecycle configuration on an MFA-enabled bucket is not supported. In this demo, we are going to demonstrate S3 storage classes and lifecycle management rules. Let's navigate to the S3 console. We already have a bucket Jayendra Patil created in the US East 1 region, and we are going to use the same for the demo. We had uploaded some test files to the bucket, and if you see, the storage class is standard, which is the default storage class. Let's upload an object to the S3 bucket. Let's select a file. With each upload, you can configure the storage class of the object. Let's navigate to the properties. And you can see a variety of storage classes supported by S3. S3 Standard is the default storage class designed for 11 nines of durability and 99.99% of availability. S3 Intelligent Tiering storage class is designed to optimize storage costs by automatically moving data to the most cost-effective storage access tier, without any performance impact or operational overhead. S3 Standard Infrequent Access is optimized for long-lived and less frequently accessed data. S3 One-Zone Infrequent Access Storage class is designed for long-lived, recreatable infrequently accessed data, but still available for real-time access. Remember, the data is stored in a single AZ. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval is ideal for archiving data that is rarely accessed but requires milliseconds retrieval. S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval is suitable for low-cost data archiving where data access is infrequent and retrieval time of minutes to hours is acceptable. Glacier Deep Archive Storage class provides the low-cost data archiving where data access is infrequent and retrieval time of hours is acceptable. And you can also see the Reduce Redundancy Storage class, which is deprecated and not recommended to be used anymore. We will select the Standard Infrequent Access Storage class for this object. Let's keep all the other configurations as default and upload the object. The file has been successfully uploaded. And now we can see the first.txt has the standard infrequent access storage class, while the others have standard storage class. Let's now configure Lifecycle Management rules. Choose the Management tab and the Lifecycle Rules section. Lifecycle rules help define action you want S3 to take during an object's lifetime, such as transitioning the objects to another storage class, archive them, or delete them after a specific period. Currently, we do not have any lifecycle rules defined. Let's define our first lifecycle rule. Name it as S3 Lifecycle Demo. Remember, the name must be unique within the bucket. Let's choose the scope of the lifecycle rule. You can apply the lifecycle rule either to all the objects with a specific prefix or tag, or to all the objects in the bucket. For now, we will apply it to all the objects in the bucket. And let's accept, I acknowledge that this rule applies to all the objects in the bucket. Under the Lifecycle Rules action, you can choose the actions that you want your lifecycle rule to perform. And the options are: transition the current versions of objects between storage classes, transition previous versions of objects between storage classes, expire current versions of objects, permanently delete previous versions of objects, and delete expired delete markers or incomplete multi-part uploads. For non-versioned bucket, the objects are always current objects, and for the versioned enable bucket, you would have current and non-current objects. Let's configure each of them one by one, and we can review the transition and expiration actions. To transition current version of objects between storage classes, we can select Transition Current Version of Objects Between Storage Classes option. In the storage class transition, you can choose the storage class to transition to. In days after object creation, you can enter the number of days after creation to transition the object. We have selected Standard Infrequent Access and have the objects transition to it after 30 days of object creation. Remember, when we choose S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval or Glacier Deep Archive Storage class, it warns you about the cost of the object transition, especially for small objects. Let's choose the S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval, and we can have the objects transition to it after 90 days of object creation. You can now review the transition rules, which shows the timeline for the current objects. Day 0 being the object uploaded date. Day 30, objects move to Standard Infrequent Access, and day 90, objects move to Glacier. If you have a versioning enabled for the bucket, the object would have current and non-current versions of the object. To transition non-current version of objects between storage class, you can use the Transition Non-Current Version of Objects Between Storage Classes option. In storage classes transition, you can again choose the variety of storage classes. In days, you can enter the number of days after the object becomes non-current to be transitioned to. It also gives you an option to limit the number of newer versions that you want to keep. We have Standard Infrequent Access selected and have the non-current objects transition to it after 30 days after the object becomes non-current. And let's limit the number of newer versions to 10. The transition rules for the non-current versions of the objects now shows day 0 is the day when the object became non-current, and day 30 the non-current objects would be moved to standard infrequent access and 10 versions of the objects would be retained. Expire current versions of objects help define expiration rule to expire current versions of the objects after a number of days after the object creation. For version-enabled buckets, S3 adds a delete marker and the current version of the object is retained as the non-current version. Let's expire the objects after 365 days. And the transition rule for the current version actions have been updated to expire the objects after 365 days. Permanently delete non-current version of the objects help define expiration rule to permanently delete previous version of objects in days after objects become non-current. Let's enter 90 days for the non-current version object expiration. You can optionally specify the number of newer versions to retain. Let's use 10 for now. And the transition rules for the non-current version actions has been updated to expire the objects after 90 days while retaining only 10 newer versions. Delete expired object delete markers and delete incomplete multipart uploads help delete the expired delete markers or remove incomplete multipart uploads objects. We cannot delete expired object delete markers as we have enabled expire current version of the objects. With multipart uploads, if the complete multipart upload request isn't sent successfully, S3 will not assemble the parts and will not create an object. The parts remain in your S3 account until the multipart upload completes or is aborted, and you still pay for the parts that are stored in the S3. Configuring this lifecycle rule helps clear up any pending multipart uploads after the specified number of days. And let's enter 10 days for the cleanup. We are good with the rule now. Let's go ahead and create our first rule. And our first lifecycle rule has been successfully created. The rules will be triggered automatically by S3 as per the defined actions and the object creation dates. So that's it for the S3 storage classes overview and lifecycle management. I hope you liked the demo. Thank you all.
Alright, that was it. Thank you for watching. You can check out my website and connect me on LinkedIn and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. For any feedback, please leave a comment down below. To see more videos like this in the future, hit the subscribe button. Thank you.